Good morning and welcome to My Left Ear. I'm Carrie Freeman. This is Petey Freeman, who missed the last video. So I told him that if he wants food and he wants treats, he has to get up here today and go to work. So I know people missed him. They wanted to know where he was. And he's now more popular than I am. So there he is. He might get up now and start bathing himself, but at least you got a good look at him. He had breakfast and he had his grooming, and he looked outside at the birdies, and now he'll go and take a nap soon. This is video 260, and it's April 3rd, and we're going to get into world events right now. Well, I just want to start with this. Senator Cory Booker outdid himself 2 nights ago. It was an extraordinary thing to see. I'm just so proud of this man and what he accomplished. I mean, 25 hours of speaking on relative topics passionately with no bathroom break, 25 hours and just little sips of water. He was on fire, and he was exactly what the United States needed. Exactly. And better than that, he wiped out racist, Thurmström? Oh, I didn't write his name. That's terrible. That had done this years ago, not 25 hours, but had done this years ago, all about, he was a huge racist, okay? I'll think of it. Thurmond, is that it? I didn't even want to put him in my notes. But anyway, he beat that, and he's a black man who beat this this title that's been around for years and years. And he said all the right things, and he woke people up, and it's just, but here's what I want to share with you that's really cool. His team, you know, his aides, his team were receiving emails in the moment when he was speaking. And what we found out is that the majority of people expressed their fear of losing Social Security. This was vastly the majority of emails that he got. So he brought it to the floor and he talked about it. This influx of emails that he got in Wisconsin, maybe other states, well, I don't want to say in Wisconsin, he was in Washington, but I was thinking about Wisconsin and that Susan Crawford one also. But at any rate, there were so many communications about Social Security. It brought it way up to visibility. And I think, my left ear thinks this, all those emails he got about Social Security, it tells you what is freaking people out and how this vote is going to go. Because this is the issue that's going to break the back, Social Security. It can't happen. So this is how people are going to vote, and very exciting. Now, got a little, you know, the good evidence at the beginning and a little bit at the end of this this episode, that Susan Crawford, Democrat, won the Supreme Court in Wisconsin, and that was after, what did Elmo, was it like 25 million that he spent? Because he has legal issues in Wisconsin, I believe, and he did not want her on the Supreme Court. But people of Wisconsin went, you think we're stupid? You think we're going to go for your bribe? And man, they just blew Elmo off the planet. So, at the same time, Lawrence O'Donnell returned from being off for 2 weeks. I thought he was on vacation, but I think he had a medical problem. And it was just wonderful to see him speak on the heels of Hakeem Jeffries standing up for 25 hours. And he had Hakeem on his show that night. So that was great. It gets better, more good evidence. Raise Social Security. A committee is being gathered to protect Social Security. Democratic senators on Tuesday announced a war room to fight changes at the Social Security Administration. Fist pump. The initiative, spearheaded by Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts and Ron Wyden of Oregon, is in direct response to the sweeping changes imposed by DOGE. So this war room will serve as a central effort to lobby against efforts to change SS. They're going to hold town halls. It's going to be big. So that's happening, and that needed to happen. And I just wrote in my notes here, Elon Musk lost his bribe in Wisconsin. Now, for the Democrats, there were losses in Florida. However, the margins were much smaller. It wasn't a sweeping win for Florida, and it's an indicator about there could be a switcheroo when the midterms comes. And I know I have one viewer that just hates it when I mention the midterms, but I apologize. So it bodes well. I was personally disappointed that Josh Weil lost. Good Democrats spent a lot of money, but small margins, not big wins for the GOP in Florida. Now I'm going to move on to something, I guess maybe this is a little bit selfish of me, but this is really eating me up. And it's about, I don't know how many innocent hostages got rounded up and taken to El Salvador. But this young man who's married, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, he's from Maryland, was mistakenly deported to the violent prison in El Salvador, leaving his young autistic son and a wife. And evidently this boy who doesn't speak is so bereft of his father not being around that the mother gave the boy clothes to smell so he could feel close to his father. This man being housed with these murderers, it's just killing me. I can't even fathom what he's going through. So I just read this, I told you this, but I'm gonna read it. This was verbatim. Although he cannot speak, he shows me how much he misses Kilmar, the wife said, in court. He's been finding Kilmar's work shirts and smelling them so he can smell the familiar smell of his father. And he's been crying and acting out more than usual. Abrego Garcia, 29, who was working as a sheet metal apprentice and was pursuing his license to become a journeyman. It's so wonderful, his ethic, was pulled over in an IKEA parking lot and arrested on March 12th with this 5-year-old son in the car. So I did runes. And the runes were very confusing. I want you to know that. I think now I've processed what we're looking at here, but I'm just going to share with you. So the first rune I pulled was the warrior. The question was, will Kilmar Abrego Garcia be returned home from El Salvador? So the first one I pulled was warrior in the reversed position. The danger is that through hasty or ill-timed action, life force can leak out or is spilled. But every day that that man is there, his life force is being spilled. The runes say, if an association is short-lived, do not grieve. Know that it has fulfilled its span. It indicates that it might be a short association for him to be there, but I don't think so, to be truthful with you. Matters of trust and confidence are at issue here because he's innocent, and speaks to the authenticity of his way of being in the world. So even the runes are acknowledging that he's innocent and he's authentic. Now, here's the thing. The second rune I pulled was, I asked, so when I first started asking this year, so when I asked this question where I got the warrior, I was asking, will he be home this year? And I got the warrior reversed, which indicated, no, he probably won't. Then I asked, without the time limit, will Mr. Garcia be returned to the U.S., but I didn't say when. I didn't give it a time limit. And I got the rune of joy, which is, you know, maybe one of the best runes in the whole 25 runes. And joy speaks of happiness, of things finally coming together, speaks of a culmination of a phase. And when joy appears in your casting, you can be assured that a positive result is in the offing, but not this year. Then again, I asked about will he come home, but I didn't put a time limit on it. And I got the blank rune. Blank is the end and blank is the beginning. So the end would be him being released and then a new life beginning. It'll be a big life, a lot of support. So this rune is one of total trust and should be taken as evidence of his destiny that will rise like the phoenix from the ashes of what is called fate. It does portend a symbolic death, and I repeat, symbolic, because to end for an innocent man like this, a beautiful man like this hard worker, to end up in this hell, it's a symbolic death. So please don't take the death literally. It is a symbolic death. It may relate to some part of his life that is no longer applicable. Very difficult advice from this rune to relinquish control. I can't imagine the grief and fear he is going through. But it does say, when unknowable appears in your spread, you can be sure that it's at work, even if you can't see it. All right, so that's hopeful. There is undiluted potential in this blank rune. That, and this is another positive, forces that are moving unseen in the background. Again, with no time limit, I got signals. So I just want to say, generally speaking, I'm going to use the word when because it's positive. When he comes back, it will be after this year. That's my feeling. So I got signals reversed, which appears to be failed communication and lack of clarity. He may feel inhibited. There's a sense of futility. And then again, with no time limit, meaning 26 or later, I got the rune of opening, but in the reversed position. And it does say, expect a darkening of the light in some situations. So it's going to be very difficult for him in El Salvador. Because he's not a gang member, I'm hoping that they'll just leave him alone. There's an indication that an aspect of yourself might be dying. It's no longer appropriate to the person you are becoming. I mean, no one would come out of El Salvador prison who's innocent without being transformed. You know, it's just a nightmare. And here we go again. It's like a death over a way of life. But it says to him, live with the emptiness right now. The new for him, the new, N-E-W, becomes illuminated in proper time. My feeling is that the felon could pick up the phone and call the president of El Salvador, give him the names of the few men who were confiscated illegally with no due process, and get them back to the US. Will Trump do that? No, he's not built that way. He doesn't want to be bothered. He's a sociopath, so he has no feelings, even though he's terrified of jail. He's terrified of everything. He's a cowardly lion. But it will have to be like a new Congress and Senate, or a new president. This poor young man may be there for a while. Wish I could deliver better news, but as we know, and I want to say in this situation, I could be wrong, and thank God if I am. So we wait. I really hate it when I pull these runes that I want to deliver good news to you guys, Then, in regard to Signalgate, Baywatch Pam Bondi deflects on potential signal probe. She claims that the information was not classified. And Caroline Leavitt, White House Barbie, an incredible liar, stated that the issue was closed. The White House had closed the issue. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, the White House closed the issue. Not exactly, but the GOP chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, that's the Senate, Roger F. Wicker, and ranking Democrat, Senator Jack Reed, have written to the acting Pentagon watchdog, Inspector General Steve Stebbins. They're opening an investigation. They want to open an investigation. Good for them. That's a GOP senator and a Democratic senator working together. This is good. So this got the rune, will Senate open an investigation into Signalgate? That was the rune's question. And I got the rune of wholeness. Wholeness, good sign. That which our nature requires. It involves the impulse towards self-realization. It represents the wholeness to which we all belong and are connected, ideally, I want to say. And it speaks of basking in the glory of the sun's rays. Through wholeness, a new, stronger, more solid, and higher foundation is created. And I want to say, despite what AG Baywatch Bondi says, my left ear feels this investigation is going to be open. Long letter went to the Inspector General, and that's what the Inspector General's job is supposed to be. And this Inspector General, Steve Stebbins, has actually a good reputation. It's just great since they just puddle jumped Baywatch Pam, AG. Because she's trying to please Trump at every juncture. And as I keep saying, and I've said for weeks, she's going to end up in trouble. I've been saying this for weeks. It was just so obvious to me. She's a crook. She's making these decisions that are strictly so that she's Trump's chief SS officer, and I don't mean Social Security, Petey turned around. He's got this big butt. Okay, so I was asked by one of you guys about, can you read on Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem? So I did a quickie this morning because I had all this ready last night, but I added this morning. So I just asked the runes about Stephen Miller's future. And I got the rune of defense, finding the power to avert blockage and defeat. So he's going to be facing defeat and blockage, okay? There appears to be an obstacle in his path, and that would be failure. The advice to him is, do not be eager to press forward, Stephen Miller. You cannot make your influence felt here. And it speaks to difficulties that arise at the beginning of a new life. And his new life will be failure and a loss of power. Then I got constraint reversed for Stephen Miller. The great teacher is disguised as the bringer of pain and limitation. So here's your answer, my friend. He has pain and limitation in his future. And it indicates a moment of great darkness for Stephen Miller. The runes say he has disowned something within that creates havoc. And then the last rune on Stephen Miller is growth reversed. No growth. And that just says it all. I don't need to go into a whole long thing. That's Stephen Miller. Now I ask the same question of Kristi Noem. What is Kristi Noem's future? Well, strangely, and I have an idea of what this means. I'll share it with you at the end. I got the rune of wholeness, that very positive rune that speaks of opening yourself up, letting light into part of your life that has been shut away. It is like the harvest from the fields stored and ready to carry through the dark winter's night. And it advises her, vanquish any refusal to let right action flow through you. In some instances, Kristi, you may seem fit to withdraw or retreat in the face of a pressing situation. Yeah, she's going to be called on the carpet. Especially if people or events are demanding you expend energy right now. And that would be demanding that you answer questions and tell the truth. So it starts out with wholeness, but then she gets bitten in the butt. Okay, she gets bitten in the butt. So she thinks she's going to walk away okay, but I got the warrior reversed. You know, the woman who packs a rifle, shoots a puppy. The danger is through hasty or ill-timed action, Kristi, life force can leak out of you and spill. If an association is short-lived, that would be her position, do not grieve. Know that it has fulfilled its span. You made it to the cabinet, but matters of trust and confidence are at issue here. And it speaks to the authenticity of your way of life and being in the world. Not good. Examine your motives carefully. Well, my motive is to dress up in costumes, wear a lot of makeup and extensions, and seem important, and haul people up, even haul people, innocent people, to death prisons. Is it self-conquest you are seeking, or are you trying to dominate another? And I'd say she's trying to dominate. And it tells her, I think this is so interesting. It says, be careful about lusting after an outcome. And, you know, she's famous for flirting, having affairs. She had an affair with Cory Lewandowski and who else, we don't know. And then the last one I got for her was like what Stephen Miller got. The great teacher disguised as the bringer of pain and limitation indicates a moment of great darkness. There is something that has been disowned within you. Well, let me tell you, there's going to be a committee, and she's going to be called on the carpet to testify, and she will have no power. She's in for dark times, but I think Stephen Miller is in for darker times. Just want to let you know that. So that's what I found. national security advisor whose neck could be on the chopping block. And strangely, when I read on him a week ago, he got all these fabulous runes, like positive, and I just put it aside. I was like, this is weird. But he's cutting a break because right this minute, like today, he's not being fired, but he has now more breaches. He neglected to get Jeff Goldberg from The Atlantic off that chat or recognize him, and he's been lying. I don't know who he is. I've never met him. I think there's a picture of them attending an event at like right there. And then we just found out that he has conducted official business via Gmail, but not just one time. It's over 20 times. And Trump is recorded as saying he's not being fired for now. For now. But this is going to get into the investigations that the two senators are trying to open with the, what do we call him? The IG. I actually now think Walz is more likely to get let go than Pete Hogsbreath. But Pete keeps racking up mistakes and terrible choices. So we wait and we watch, but Walz is on very thin ice now. And if he's doing this, he has no, none of them have any business being in this cabinet. So that's where we are right now. I want to mention a couple of things. I was in Trader Joe's the other morning, and I came out, and the parking lot was really busy. So I just stood in a place that was safe, and I just let these cars back out and pull in and, almost collide. And there was a woman in a white, expensive SUV, and she was just sitting there, and I was afraid, I wanted to go, get her parked or get her to pull out safely. I was concerned. And so I was looking at her, she was looking at me, and when things cleared, she rolled down her window like she wanted to speak to me. I don't even know if she knew that I was watching out for her. But I walked over, she had a big smile, and she paid me a compliment. She said, I saw you in the store and blah, blah, blah. I don't want to go into the compliment. It was really nice. And I said, where are you from? Because she had an accent. She said, oh, I'm Armenian. I've been here 30 years. She was very warm, very down to earth. And she mentioned that she thought I had really nice skin. And then she says to me, I'm going to Paris. Here's the crux of the story. I'm going to Paris in May because this skin cream is miraculous and I can't get it. I can't get it shipped to the United States. And I went, you're going to Paris to get this cream? She goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And she said, and my travel agent said it would be okay and blah, blah, blah. And I had a bad feeling about it. My left ear was like, don't go, don't go. So she was a stranger, but a nice stranger. And she said, Armenians are loved everywhere. And my travel agent, said it would probably be okay. And so I said, listen, I didn't talk about that I had intuition or anything like that. I said, I really think you should rethink this trip. People are having a hard time getting back into the country. And she kind of dismissed me, but my hope was I made her think about it. And it scared me and it's been haunting me. So I felt like there was a reason I was supposed to meet her and caution her. I just want to tell you the story. I don't want to hear about anybody going to Europe for fun or going to Canada, because there's very innocent people that are being apprehended at the Canadian border and detained for 1 day, 2 days. Saw an American girl 9 days. And she was an American with all her paperwork. Very scary. So that was, there was something else I wanted to share. What the world was it? Oh man, it was pretty good too, but okay. It'll be in the next show if I think of it, or it'll come up in the next moment. Yeah, I remember it. It's at the end. It's evidence. Okay. Here's a quote. "They want us dead," said James Bond calmly, "so we have to stay alive." And that, of course, is by the author of all the James Bond episodes, written by Ian Fleming. "They want us dead," said James Bond calmly, "so we have to stay alive." And I thought that was good for right now. Then I have a quote by George Orwell, the book 1984. Here's the quote. "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command." Creepy, right? So creepy, so accurate. And then here's just a little teeny good evidence that just gave me a lift. I really, really admire Jasmine Crockett. I just think this woman is fabulous, and her sense of humor and all kinds of stuff. She is fearless. So I made a comment. She put up a tweet, and I think it had to do with Elmo. And I wrote, "It won't mean anything to ketamine boy. That's what I called him. Ketamine boy. He's unable to grow or listen." And guess what? She hit reply and she liked my comment. And I was like, superstar, knows who I am. I've written her before. But I think she liked Ketamine Boy because she likes these, she was the one who came up with about Marjorie Taylor Greene, blonde build bodies. I mean, it was very funny. It was all bees. It was really hilarious. So she's got a sense of humor, and I felt acknowledged, and it really made me happy because she's one of my favorite people. And I have something else, but I'm going to wait because I'm into 32 minutes now. We don't want to go longer. I will do this for you. I will turn the boy around. Petey, don't be mad at me. Okay, we're going to see. We're going to see how we can get it. Come on, boy. Come on, Pete. He is so accommodating. Here we go, sweetie. Oh, sweetie. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Sweetie boy. He is such a handsome boy. He's such a sweet boy. Okay, that's it. You got your dose of Petey. And I'll see you soon. This is what I got today, but you know what? It just keeps changing. It just keeps changing. And we're just going to use that James Bond quote. We're going to stay alive, and we're going to fight. And it's getting better. That win in Wisconsin, big deal. Cory Booker, big deal. Democrat and GOP senators coming together to do what Pam Baywatch Bondi won't do, which is investigate Signalgate. So there's good stuff. And if you listen to some of the really good people, like I love Lawrence O'Donnell. I think he's kind of genius and creative. And he feels a little shift. And other people are saying, I feel a little shift. So here we go. Make peace. Make good memories. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. There's Petey taking his bath. Okay, bye-bye.